Hey there, book people! You are watching Book Blogging with Jan, and I'm that person. Today we are talking about a topic that is very dear to my heart. Shh! As I was saying... Shh! Okay, what are you doing?
This is a quiet space. People are reading.
No. This is the space where I talk to people about what they're reading. So what are you, some sort of shushy librarian stereotype? You know, libraries aren't even like that anymore. Not even in fiction.
You aren't going to be quiet, are you?
Favorite fictional libraries! Are you gonna let me do this? Lyrial by Garth Nix. The Great Library of the Clare, and Garth Nix's second Old Kingdom book, Lyrial, is one of my favorite fictional libraries of all time. Not only does it house old books, it also houses magical artifacts and even more dangerous magical creatures. Becoming a librarian here requires great courage and fortitude and no small amount of magical ability. It's no coincidence that one of the most feared and powerful of the charter mages in the future-seeing glacial community of the Clare also happens to be the chief librarian. This library is massive and organized into locked rooms. Many of these rooms are considered to be so deep and so restricted that they and their contents are possibly lost to memory. And is dangerous! When Lyriel's outfitted with her tools of trade as third assistant librarian, included are 2 items to call for help, a dagger, and a spelled key meant to keep her from the most dangerous levels of the library. That's crazy. That's just crazy. What I love about this library is that I know that Garth Nix can write entire novels on the creatures and knowledge housed within. And Lyriel uses that knowledge to become a better person. She literally sees who she is and who she can become in the library. But what I love the most about this library, this character, and this story is that Lyriel never stops being a librarian, even when she chooses the greater path. Does the walker choose the path or the path the walker? I choose 5 out of 5 book people for this, the second in Garth Nix's Old Kingdom series. The first is Sabriel, the third is Aberson, and a 4th is to be released later this year.
I already read the 4th book. It's real good.
So you do like librarians? I like librarians who serve a greater good.
Well, I don't think I like dangerous libraries.
You're gonna hate this next one. The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. Now, The Historian takes place in more than one library. In fact, it is a decades-long, multi-generational search for the tomb of the historic Dracula, Vlad Tepes III. It takes the narrator, her parents, her father's mentor, and various other academics across libraries in the United States and Western and Eastern Europe, including the Soviet bloc, in search for the final, or not so final, resting place of the Turk killer and supposed vampire. Now, I'm not gonna say there are vampires in the archives, okay? Except that I am. There are totally vampires in the archives. Those vampires, man. I can't tell you how many of them I have had to fight off in the public city archive where I work. Just trying to get their undead claws onto those city directories. Photographs of the governor's mansion. Okay, I haven't fought any vampires in the archives. They told me I would be fighting vampires if I became an archivist, and that hasn't happened yet. Okay, so dreams shattered. Dreams shattered. Okay, But the impetus for this investigation are these nearly identical books that are placed mysteriously and independently into each of these scholars' possessions. Searching for the origins of these books leads these academics on a decades-long cat-and-mouse scholarly tournament, the prize of which is...
Go on.
Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
Get on with it.
Okay, the prize for the scholar who gets closest to discovering Dracula's tomb is... he gets to catalog Dracula's library. Five out of five. Perfect 10.
That's not how your rating system or even math works.
Perfect book.
You're right.
Yeah?
I do hate it. A library of the undead?
Oh, that's not even a library of the undead. This next one is. The Archived by Victoria Schwab. Mackenzie Bishop works for The Archive. Capital T, capital A. She's a keeper responsible for finding and returning lost histories. But she's not looking for books, she's looking for bodies. That should have been a tagline. She's not looking for books, she's looking for bodies. The Archive is where the dead go after they die. It's an afterlife of sorts. The archive, like any physical archive, is dedicated to the principle of preserving the past, but it doesn't do so by preserving letters, photographs, diaries, or other personal items. It does so by preserving the lives themselves. Lives become histories when they are accessioned. But not all histories want to rest. It's up to Mackenzie to find the woken histories and return them. Of course, she has to navigate various ethical shades of gray as she tracks down histories that are becoming more and more like living people to her. While I love the idea of the afterlife as an archive, I am unsure about what the ultimate purpose is. Physical archives preserve unique materials of historic or enduring value for the purposes of research and investigation. The histories of Mac's archive are unavailable to anyone except the librarians and the board of directors. And there's no indication that the loss of these histories would have any consequences for the living. The histories themselves are asleep and they don't know where they are, and the keepers and crew are forbidden from reading histories at rest. So while the image of the silent library is a beautiful one, it's not so much a library or archive as it is a really well curated warehouse. A library is not used by its collection, and a library without users is a dead library indeed. But I really like the story, and the characters are smart and multifaceted, so I do give this one 4 out of 5 book people, and I encourage you to read it.
I don't like a dead library either. We must have patrons and users. Oh dear, you've got more, haven't you?
The Library of Babel by Jorge Luis Borges. Jorge Luis Borges was a librarian who wrote about libraries. It's my favorite kind. As the director of the National Library of Argentina, you would think that he saw the universe as full of potentially catalogable information. But he was acutely aware of the limitations of mankind's knowledge and knowledgeability. And so we come to his short story, The Library of Babel. The universe is a library, and every man a librarian. There are a specific and set number of books per room, written in a specific and uniform set of symbols on a specific and standard book format. However, with endless rooms, you're looking at an endless collection. The librarians conclude that the books are written in every possible permutation of the symbol set, and must inevitably contain every book ever written or ever to be written. And so the search for the meaningful contents begins. Some librarians search with almost religious zeal. Many die before ever finding any. The containers are ordered, but the content is meaningless. The Library of Babel has an eerie similarity to our current big data problem in that billions of people produce vast amounts of data daily in our hyper-connected lives. Borges' librarians don't have the algorithms, but they're data mining all the same. In a way, Borges' Library of Babel is the exact opposite of Victoria Schwab's archive, in that it has willing users but no meaningful content. And that's another way a library can be dead. I give this one 4.5 out of 5 book people, and I definitely think it's a read because of its philosophical questions that he asks and the applicability to a current problem that many librarians and data curators currently face.
How are these your favorite fictional libraries? Vampires? Ghosts? Danger? Disorder? They're awful.
Libraries mean different things to different people, and so we come to one of, if not the most important aspect of libraries, the people. I mean, at Book People, we are a community bound by books. The social aspect of reading is right there in our mission. And libraries, especially public libraries, but almost all libraries can claim this, have always been centers for community engagement. That's why I can confidently say that booksellers and librarians are allies in the information profession. And the information professions are not about silencing voices. So that image that you represent of the Shushy Librarian Stereotype, it's not relevant or even real anymore. Librarians look and are as different as the industries where they are found in the fields that they occupy.
If I'm not real, then who have you been talking to?
Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks to these people for these things. If you'd like to recommend a book or topic, or just tell me what your favorite fictional library is, you can go ahead and leave a comment on any and all of my videos. I read them all, I promise. If you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and click a like. You can even share it with your friends, your enemies. That'd be cool of you. Don't forget to check out my previous videos. Binge watching is a thing that people do now, so you don't even have to feel guilty about it. Once again, thank you for watching from me and Book People, Texas's largest and Austin's #1 independent bookstore.